What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Hello and welcome to the
What time is it?
99th episode
Yeah, what time is
of your show. We got Dragon in the house on the ones and twos. We're still trying to tame that incredible opening sequence. So what LB did, our head engineer here, he went ahead and messed with all the buttons in the studio, in the producer booth, the tooth booth. Shout out to Dr. Funkhauser and Associates, the big tooth on 2nd Ave. And while he was in there, he's got it all set up and streamlined, so you push one button and it starts, but coming out of that has still been a little bit tricky as we learn as we go. Dragon hates it. It's supposed to make life easier. Anyways, I compare it to Tiger Woods switching his swing after all those years, and he sucked for a couple rounds, and then all of a sudden he won a bunch more majors. So this is how you become better, which is what we are all about here on your show. My name is Gary. I am your host, and I'm so grateful to have you here with us, one episode away from episode 100, which will be an ongoing celebration throughout the show tomorrow. Before we get anywhere else, yeah, by the way, I'm supposed to start opening the segments, telling you that we are the #1 ranked podcast that features producers all under the age of 19, as well as a show that basically is just all of our closest friends. #1 ranked on YouTube for that. Nice. Go ahead, fact check it. We'll see how it goes. Let's head on over to the Maggie Cam and see what beautiful Margaret's up to today. There she is. Maggie Old Ben Kenobi Nickel. God, you look good, girl. The Maggie Cam for our fantastic friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, Mike and Rochelle, along with their lovely hound, Leroy, who just so happens to be one half of Saskatoon's puppy power couple, as Margaret is dating Leroy, and they're very, very happy together. It's a beautiful thing. As well, they're there for you, to take care of you, make your day the best day you've ever had in your entire life. If you're having a bad day, just go there and say hello, and then it will get better, I promise you. They have everything you need for your pets, that's plural, as well as on the weekends and after business hours. Kirsten, Shar, and Chris are there to help you have the best experience ever. So be sure to head on over to Pet Planet on 8th Street and say hello to all of our friends there, and maybe you'll even see Margaret walking around, as we have to go get some food here very soon. Good Maggie Camp. Good job, Marge. Great job in there. Very proud of you. So Tuesdays have become very special days around here because one of our mainstays on your show was created, I guess, months ago now. It's pretty crazy when we think about it. But every Tuesday before this very show, we record an episode of the All Out of Angst podcast. We just recorded episode 8. That will be dropping Thursday, along with Dude Podcast. So Thursday, we have a couple shows, new shows that drop for you, which is very exciting. And on this show, the All Out of Angst podcast, we feature 2 co-hosts who are incredible, amazing human beings. You know Matt from all the bands. You know Uncle Mike from his all-natural products. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the All Out of Angst boys! Hey-o. Woo!
What's going on?
There they are. Man, that was the most you've moved today, brother. How'd that feel?
I feel like it's loosening up.
So, Matt from all the bands, he pulled off a sweet move and went to see Metallica and Pantera.
No big deal.
And with that, he got to have a lot of fun. And then he also did another super cool thing that we totally can't tell anyone about. But maybe if you want to just tell people why your neck is sore today.
So
sir.
Yesterday, me and the Into Eternity crew, we spent pretty much the whole day miming along to our song Timeless Winter and just headbanging. And there's like a part at the end whenever I'm playing it live or whatever, that's when I really start giving her. And so, like, again, I had to do that like 30 times. And yeah, without saying what's happening, my neck's really sore and I'm tired. And then I went for a run today to try and loosen it up, which I feel like all that did is just stiffen it up even more. But
I thought you were gonna yada yada it.
yeah,
Like,
yada
I
yada
was
yada.
doing this thing, yada yada
Yeah.
yada. My neck's really sore today.
I love the Seinfeld reference.
So good. We love Seinfeld. So you did a bunch of headbanging,
Yep.
not just to Pantera and to Metallica, but also while doing something else that was really cool that we can talk about.
Yeah. But
I feel like you're laying down the excuse already for a less than stellar Frankie's Fingers piano playout.
yeah, but you know what? I'm just gonna dig deep. You know, Aaron told me to not go deep, but
Stress it.
yeah.
There's no bigger motivator in the world than when your spouse says you can't do something.
Look at that turkey guy. That's
I'm just saying. We've had a couple experiences here with people who have been told they can't do things, and then they come here and they do it incredibly well. So you're in the right place for a guy who's about to show somebody the what's what, if you will.
yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that. The concert. We talked about it a lot on the All Out of Angst episode 8. I believe it will be dropping this Thursday. Maybe go over it a bit again and let people know what went on, because I didn't even know that it was a double show, like a 2 show with none of the songs repeating, like the No Effects show that just came through not too long ago over there.
So yeah, it's a no repeats weekend or whatever, and I tend to not like to look at the set lists before, because you know they're always on, and yeah, they started out with Battery, so sweet, and Wherever I May Roam, that was kind of cool. It kind of brought the energy down, and then there's a good chunk of new ones, which again, I'm not poo-pooing on the 72 seasons, but you could kind of feel the energy in the crowd after the 4th new one. Everyone's like, all right, like, give us Fade to Black, give us, you know, whatever.
It sort of blows my mind, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
It sort of blows my mind that bands have been doing this for so long, and this being, how do we work in our new songs with all the old songs that people want to hear?
Yeah.
Like, how has no one figured that out
Yeah,
yet?
because that was, like, I get, like, they kind of just bundled it in, but it would have been nice to just
Break it
slice
up a
them
little bit.
through. Kind of like me and Aaron's wedding mix, how we put every third song was metal. Like, every third song should be a new one.
Right.
But, yeah, again, it was good, and like I had said, Orion, like a 7-minute instrumental, I didn't think I was going to see that song live. It's a very special song to my heart, so, like, I shed a tear because I'm just that kind of metalhead, you know, I'm badass and whatnot. So yeah, that was awesome, and it was just such a fantastic show. And like how I was saying, it's crazy that they can get such an amazing sound in this big arena. Like when it's just Lars like hitting the kick or whatever with nothing else, it's like sounds like a heartbeat. It's like boom, 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 where you hear it echoing over, you know, off whatever. But then somehow when they're all playing together, it just meshes, and it blows my mind. One thing I was looking, like, there's monitors like all over. There's got to be like 500 monitors around all the stages.
That's crazy.
It's kind of like thinking like, don't they have in-ears? Because like they would do everything on in-ears. But I guess if that failed, and you were just like in the middle of nowhere and didn't have an in-ear monitor trying to play it, like that would be disastrous. So I guess that's why they're probably just for backups or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of a sidetrack. But fantastic show, and just what a spectacle! Like seeing Pantera in a crowd that big, and just we're happy that we got in and out, and you know we were able to get a cab home and all these things. Where like just. But honestly, like, if you're stuck, like, it's not the nicest part of Edmonton. If you're stuck down there for 3 hours trying to get a cab or something, that would have been pretty obnoxious. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, everything worked out, and it was awesome.
We had that experience after the No Effects show last year. Mm-hmm. We sat in the parking lot. We had an Uber guy driving around the entire facility that just couldn't find us. And we spent like an hour in the parking lot with all the
waiting. He was there. He was somewhere there. And we had one lined up. He was coming, but he just didn't know where he was going. And
it's crazy. And that's getting old. One of the highlights is getting out of there quick without any issues.
But the thing is, like, when me and Aaron were out, like, trying to wrangle our cab, there's probably, like, hundreds of other couples like us, and you can kind of overhear, like, I feel like me and Aaron are a pretty good team with stuff like that, where we just, you know, you got to get her done, and
can
where like
overhear
you can,
relationships
but it was
falling apart.
like, you know, like when people are backing up trailers and stuff, like I was seeing and hearing a lot of stuff like that, where I was just like, ooh, but hopefully we
that's
can get
not
out of
me.
here.
Yeah, dude. That's where relationships go to die, bro.
Yes.
A parking lot of leaving a big festival or a big concert.
I know me and Murray leaving Metallica in Saskatoon many years ago, we didn't get out, like and we got caught in the whole thing, and it was.
You just want that last little bit. Maybe they're going to come out once more, and then you pay the price.
But yeah, it was crazy where you got almost fights happening for, you know, people not letting people in and stuff, and you're just like, oh my goodness.
Our buddy Cliff, on our way out, we were the old guys at the NoFX show, and some group of kids, there was like probably 7 or 8 of them, walked by us like, oh, look at these old guys. What are they even doing here? And then our buddy, like Uncle Mike and I, we're like you, and our buddy Sperman, we're not confrontational.
No.
Not our buddy Cliff. Cliff turns back, what'd you say?
Oh, no.
Whoa, what? No, what'd you guys say? Whoa, man, easy. And the 3 of us like, come on, man, we're too old. We're not going to be starting a fight in the parking lot. Cliff didn't care. And of course, us being big, strong-looking, mean dudes, those guys cowered very quickly, like most bullies tend to do.
Yeah.
And we went on our merry way. But he tuned him in, and it was funny because
it
I
was
thought we were
still a
going to beat up
gamble,
a
though.
bunch of
You guys
kids.
might have been.
I wasn't ready to punch a bunch of like 19-year-old kids in the face.
Well, that kind of reminds me of a thing that happened at the show, because me and Aaron were just looking down at all the people on the floor. We were like the first row, which is nice, where we can even like if we.
I saw your spots, man. You were right on the railing in the
it
seat,
was fantastic.
man. Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of watch all of the nonsense that's happening, and there was a guy that had like, 2 guys, and they both had 2 beers on this like garbage can, just a normal garbage. And this guy that was obviously crazy or like intoxicated or something, he came up, I don't know what happened, he knocked one of the guy's beers right off, like a full beer.
Asking
and
for
then
it.
he comes up to the guy and he's like giving him the birds, and this guy was just calm and he didn't do anything, and I was like, nice work. And it was funny because the security guard's right there, and he was kind of like didn't want anything to do with it. Like
Their only job, security
like,
guy.
the classic security for these things, it's always like 16-year-old, just like the sweetest little goobers that are like supposed to be security for a Metallica Pantera show. It's just, it doesn't work. But yeah, I was just like, good for you, because that's like whatever spirits, or that's something tempting you, you know, if you were to retaliate when someone knocks your $15 beer or whatever it is, and then gives you the finger, and you want to fight them, but then now you get kicked out of this Metallica concert where he kept his cool, and I had a lot of respect for that guy.
The price of those beers would be the anger there. Not even the guy knocking them.
Well,
Like, I'd have the same reaction if I just fell over and spilled it, right?
Yeah.
That's where the rage comes from. The fact that you got a jabroni doing it in your face and then giving you the double finger so that you know he meant to do it.
Yeah.
That would be a little hard to overcome.
For me, like, again, the security guard didn't need to do anything, but maybe like radio and at least flag this guy. Like this guy
He's going
he
somewhere
might
next. He's
be
gonna
causing
keep doing
trouble
it.
later.
Yeah.
Like you want to be on like, but I'm not gonna critique the security.
We never would. There's a lot to say about, you know, eliminating a situation before it escalates.
Yeah.
And that might have been a good lesson to be learned there as we are hanging out with the All Out of Angst podcast crew. We got Uncle Mike from his All Natural Products. We got Matt from all the bands as we have been recapping the Metallica concert that went through Edmonton. You mentioned Pantera, and we had talked about this before. If you're going to continue to tour as a band that's missing 2, dare I say, of the most important players in said band. I think Vinny and Dimebag, I feel like those 2 dudes
I feel like they
Pantera.
are the band.
Yeah,
like,
because
the fact is
Phil's-
they're original, they're writing the music, and they like,
Yeah, so with that in mind, like Phil obviously is the voice, but even so, it always felt like Dimebag and Vinny were the 2 dudes that were Pantera.
Yeah.
So I want to know from you, how did it compare? Because if you're gonna fill in, you got the other half, you got the other 2 OGs, and then you bring in a ringer, and this led to a pretty good conversation on the audio only All That Angst show that we did previous to this live show. But I would just like to hear from you your thoughts on how the new look Pantera was.
the new look. You're like not
No, as in the new
sound-
Pantera. The Pantera as a whole, how were they?
Yeah, they were fantastic. Like I was saying, because my biggest life regret, I didn't get to see them when they came here, and Mike got to see. But it's like fulfilled something in me where like now I can rest easier knowing that I got to see a version of the band. It was really special. You've got Phil, and like how I commented, like the band, they all look like they're doing well, which is nice. But yeah, Phil's got, you know, just the schlubby black shirt, cargo shorts, bare feet, you know, and then
The dream.
yeah, just walking around with all the just
Swagger.
swagger, and then
Yep.
yeah, Rex, you know, he's still, you know, got all the good, he's got the goods, and then you got Charlie Benante, who's the drummer for Anthrax. That's the guy they brought in. So he
awesome.
does a great job.
Dude.
And again, like
No one
for-
ever talks about Anthrax. Why doesn't everyone ever talk about Anthrax?
I don't know why.
Maybe because the name's so scary.
Yeah, it could be like.
Doesn't have a good rep.
Maybe they got canceled after.
An anthrax
I feel
attack.
like that was
Yeah.
a thing, like where
It's-
that
I
was.
mean,
I bet you
wasn't
the
great
name
for
has
them.
something to do with
I
it.
don't know
Left a
why
bad
they
taste
just
in
if
some
they
people's
never
mouth.
had enough of the like hit songs maybe like they
That's a good
are
point.
they're part of the big four thrash, so
Yeah.
like they're talked about, but not in like they're talked about in the metal circle, but not like, you know, everyone knows Megadeth and Metallica whether or not you're a metalhead. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were great, and I liked how Zach was playing the solos, like the way Zach would play. I'm not just trying to be like doing everything that Dime would do. So, which again, now you got someone that's always playing in the pocket. Like this is when I'm playing solos, I'll record a solo, and then when I have to play that exact same solo, it's always a bit rigid. Where like I like sometimes just playing leads like with feel and not necessarily having to fall. Like you can play your big notes that need to be in there, but the rest, it's nice to kind of have a freer flowing, because then you're always in the pocket. You're not like,
Right.
okay, now I gotta
yeah,
catch
go
this
back.
note,
Yeah.
catch that note, and it just always seems a bit rigid to me. So yeah, Zach was on fire. Seeing Pantera with like 50,000 other people was
That's
pretty cool. It was funny, like at the very end of the show, he's like, "Oh no, I want everyone to sing this with me," and he's like, "And we're flying a stairway to heaven," or whatever. He did that. And everyone's just like,
Attaboy,
"That's-"
Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, so Zach Wilde, man. And I joked about how he's like the guy you call when you have a band that loses members. Like he just comes in because he's so good. Like not just good at doing that, but so good as a whole. And I think every time he does these sort of things, like, yeah, I'll go on tour with you guys, you know, and just fills in that spot. His legend just grows, you know, like to be able to, I guess, transform into whatever that band needs for that tour.
Well,
is
exactly.
so
Because
wild to me.
stepping in, when he stepped in for Ozzy, like already now you've got to do Randy Rhoads stuff. You got to do Jake E. Lee stuff. Like just these crazy guitar players, and somehow you need to put your stamp on it too. And then, so that's why he was the only choice for
Yeah.
Pantera. Like, I don't think there would be any other. I really cannot think of another person that would. Anyone could play the music. That's not the thing. No, I'm not saying everyone can play Dime, but you know what I mean. You can find guitar players
Right.
that can play like that, but you need to have that spirit and that like presence that Zach Wilde has. You know, so that's why I think he was the right choice. And
We didn't talk about the songs that Pantera played. What did you think of the play? The
oh
set
yeah,
list?
they played. You've
Played
got
all the bangers?
Yeah, they played all the bangers with the exception of how I was saying, Cemetery Gates. They
Our
did.
favorite one.
They did a video montage of the Abbott brothers, and they just piped the song through. And because when they first, you know, it cuts in with that clean guitar,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh my God,
They're
this
doing-
is
they're
amazing.
doing it.
And then like 2 minutes in, I was like, oh,
Wait a second.
I think they're just playing the song. And then
Somebody miss a
yeah,
cue?
yeah.
Yeah.
But and then we discussed like what the reasoning would have been for that, like whether it's because
I wanted to try it. But I don't think I'd get up as I did.
yeah.
Man, you activated the Maggie cam with that octave, bro. Woo. Anyways, if you've never heard Cemetery Gates before, one of the best parts of the song is Phil just going octave to octave, to an octave that no one's supposed to hit, ever. Like the Crossroads solo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's impossible to hit that tone. And I think
Might have
you
just done
did
it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you did
Might
something.
have
That
just
was
Yeah,
done
pretty
it.
but
good.
mine was it sounds like Elmer Fudd on a juicer though. Like-
Elmer Fudd on a juicer. Oh, that's a good term. So you got a little taste of Cemetery. You got your Pantera. You got your Metallica. How do you feel now? Do you feel like you had a spiritual weekend?
I
A musically
honestly
spiritual?
do.
Yeah.
Like it's.
You've been close to tears a couple times now, bro.
Yeah, and well, what else is new though? Like I don't know if that's different to
Yeah,
any
well,
other week, but
We
no,
feel the music. That's what it is.
I really do feel like it gave like I always go in like with motivation and inspiration with music. How always it ebbs and flows, and I was kind of not in a bad one, but kind of just like I need to always be inspired, and this really inspired me because like I was saying, Metallica are four guys that are actually playing music. They're not piping anything in. You hear when Kirk will miss a little thing or whatever, and then because they'll have a delay on, you know, it like delays, and you hear that mistake 3 or 4 times. But then they like pull back together, and they'll be doing like a harmonized lead, and it sounds like you're listening to the record, and you're just like, how can these guys do it? And it's impressive. It's inspiring to me to want to keep getting better, and then. More than anything, it's just so entertaining. Like they know how to put on an entertaining show with all of the lights and the, you know, just talking to the crowd. And James is such an honest, genuine person. Like I was mentioning before, where he's like, everyone that hasn't been here, you know, put up your hand, and a bunch of people do. And then he's like, well, welcome to the family. And then he's like, and everyone else that's part of the family, you know, like whatever. And it kind of felt like, you know, like a church service or something, in a sense, where you're just like, this is really cool. Like, and then everyone in the crowd kind of feels together, you know, you're all in it for the same things. And I don't know, whatever he did, maybe it was just glamoring me, but it was very inspirational. And it left me, I went home the first, right when I got home, I just put on like a backing track and started like soloing over it, just because I was like, I just want to like, let some stuff out, and it felt really good. So it's nice to get to play music like that, because lots of times I'll get caught in a pocket where I'm just rehearsing the songs that I need to play, or rehearsing this, or if I'm teaching someone I need to learn this song, and it's like it's playing music, but it's kind of it's not that same spiritual thing like where you're just playing with your heart.
It's music. Oh man, that really hit something with me there. You talking about just having to release all of the positive energy and music and feelings that you went through. Like you probably got some pretty cool shit in that little noodle sesh you did right after, hey?
Yeah, I like it, but then obviously I went back and I was like, oh,
Then you hate it, yeah.
But there.
That's what we do.
But yeah, there was some really cool stuff. But more than anything, it just felt really good playing it. When I was like, I always record myself when I'm doing this stuff, so I went back and listened to it. And there's some cool stuff. Like nothing I would use, but it just
Not yet.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, exactly. But
And that little bit, you know, that might age very well, as in it will, when you listen to it, it's not just you listening to it, it's you reliving the experience that you went through every time you listen to it, which might lead to something that will, you know, change the world.
because well, again, to tie in with I think it was Zach Wilde. He said like to be like a guitar great or whatever, like you need to make every note believable. Every single note you play needs to be believable. And I like kind of had that thought in my head when I was playing. So I guess that's like when I'm listening back and I'm like, oh, I fell out there. That's why I'm like, like I lost it. I lost it for that one thing. And again, like for vocals, like Rob Halford's one of those guys where like every note he sings is so believable. Like you never lose that kind of, you know, allure or whatever. So like I always strive to want to get to that point where like everything you're playing is like super believable and whatnot. But obviously these are the best of the best that I'm trying to emulate.
I asked you boys earlier, and I'm going to ask you again because I realized how outrageous my comment was when I mentioned how many shows do you think Metallica has played. I said it could be anywhere between 50 to 100,000 shows. Obviously, that's not possible because I don't think there's 100,000 days in between. What would be 83 when they started?
But yeah,
to now.
I
Math
know
doesn't
the
quite check
Black
out, but
Album.
it's,
When they were touring the Black Album, I think some years they were doing over 300 shows a year. So
Which is pretty crazy. So I bet you they'd be pushing maybe 20 to 30,000 shows, which is insane to think about.
Because this 72 seasons tour, they've been on tour for 2 years.
Which like that alone.
Like
And like just doing that. Was it 83? Was that when Kill 'Em All came out?
I
think
believe
it was.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. So from then What, I don't have the math.
And I imagine
40
those
years.
early days, they probably would have been playing every night.
Oh yeah,
You know, like
or
the
maybe
small
2
clubs.
or 3
yeah.
in a
yeah.
weekend type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to crunch the numbers.
I think what we can all agree on for sure is that they could definitely play a show blindfolded and we wouldn't know. That's how good they are.
Yeah, and like how I was saying, and I've always respected about Metallica, how they actually are playing, and they are fine with, like, they'll put out live, this
untouched.
when we played, this German show, they'll put it out on as like a bonus thing in one of their records, and it's just like super sloppy and miss notes and
real
lyrics, but they put it out and they're like, this is what we are, and people respect them for that.
Yeah, that's a lot of, and I also said this earlier, that's a lot of the praise that we receive around here for this very show that you guys are co-hosts on, because nobody does a live show. Nobody. I don't care where you're going to get your content. Whatever it is, odds are it's not live, because live is so hard to do. And it's not just hard to do as in me talking to you right now, being totally live, and that anything could happen. Wow, that's crazy. But it's also knowing that you will make mistakes, knowing that you will come on, we'll have a little flub up. Poor Dragon's still trying to figure out the 1s and 2s in there again after all the changes. But that's what human beings do. That's real life. And that's the payoff, along with the reps. I can tell you a pretty interesting story about the importance of reps. You guys haven't even asked about the Dragon yet. You guys
I've noticed it.
Honestly,
I've been sitting here
been
waiting
intrigued.
for you
Oh, my
boys to be
goodness.
like, what is going on? Where did you get this guy?
I just figured it was
Go ahead. Play with
Dragon.
him. He's
Dragon,
so
the
sweet.
representative.
So
of
we were at
Dragon.
the Ganbate. I'm totally flipping everything here, as Will.
I like
right.
We were at the Ganbate Anime Convention over at TCU Place over the weekend. Had a booth set up. So we were actual booth people, and Network Ryan and Uncle Brando were doing a CCO panel talk. And I've never been to a con or a convention. I've never done any panel talks. And so I was just sort of taking it all in. And Dragon and I were walking around the floor, and this lady was at her table, and she had a bunch of these different dragons. They had junior dragons, and then this guy was an adult dragon. And I looked at the lady. I think I told this story yesterday, too, when Dragon was on. And I looked at the lady, and I said, oh, you got adult dragons? I got one, too. He's right here. And the joke died instantly. He no-sold it. So I sat there waiting for someone to laugh. It's like, Dragon, did you hear what I said? He's like, yeah, I heard it. And they just embarrassed me to the point where I went back a half hour later and bought the dragon because I felt so bad. So that's how we got the adult dragon on the
Do you
set.
remember those like snake things? that
Yeah.
you would, like, I kinda thought
Exactly
it
what I
was
was
like
thinking of, yeah. So at that convention, and shout out and all the love to everybody there. Did you know we were the only table, the only booth at the convention that offered voice acting demo reel creations?
I was not aware of that.
At an anime con. So an anime convention. All these people are there because they love anime. And I don't know how everyone's missing this, but anime is all voice actors. If you want to get an anime, you need to be a voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Death Star in here, aka our recording booth. The Tooth booth is what we call it. And we can literally create a voice acting demo for you. So we were telling all the people walking by, we had all this stuff set up. Do you see the signage? We got all these cool signs now
Yeah.
for when we go on location.
Sandwich boards.
It's really cool. So we got to talk to all those people. And then we did the panel. And at the panel, Network Ryan was talking about basically how to become a YouTuber or how to become whatever it is we're doing. And eventually he threw it back to me. And I never spoked, I think that's better, at a con before. So I wasn't on stage with Network Ryan and Uncle Brandon. I was just off to the side. But then he threw it over to me. And there was a guy there asking about how do you get into this, what you guys are doing. And I went on to explain. And the reason I'm telling this story is because you guys have the exact same experience that I had just had. So I mentioned the importance of believing in yourself. If I'm explaining to everyone what I'm trying to do here, but I don't believe in it in any way, why the hell should they? And then I told the story about how I had to convince my dad about what this dream was and why it was a good idea. And then we started showing him. And it took some time, but now he understands and now he believes in what we're doing. And then I had to win over my granny. And I'm basically repeating myself from yesterday when Dragon was on, but it's such a cool story, I just wanted to reiterate it. My granny still has no clue what we do here, but she fully supports everything that we are doing because now she understands that not only do I believe in it, but my dad believes in it, my friends believe in it, everyone believes in it.
You
And once
brought a
you
community
believe,
together that believes in it.
exactly, then all of a sudden it becomes real. And so that's what I told this young kid. I said, it all starts with believing in yourself, which you guys had to do to start bands, which you had to do to start a business. And not only that, reps. I talked about the importance of being able to do live anything because it separates you from everyone else in the business. No one does a live show every day. Okay, we're going to do a live show every day. And then all of a sudden you stand out and you're getting reps. 1 hour of live rep, whatever it is equal to 50 hours of practice. Who said that?
Well, it was Marty Friedman, and
Heard of
he
him.
had said 1 hour on stage equals 20. And then I had said with Metallica, because they're always filming it, that's like even more. But yeah. And again, these are just arbitrary numbers, but
Still,
the idea is there.
The point being is you maximize your ability to learn without even knowing it. Just forcing yourself to go on from 4 to 5, Monday to Friday on YouTube, no matter what happens, no matter where you are, no matter what your guests are doing. Get those reps in, and then you know what to do when people don't show up, and you know how to operate when stuff doesn't work. And your value becomes so huge because you're putting in the reps. So I told this kid, I said, just get your reps in, and any opportunity you have to go live, be it speaking in front of people, speaking at panels, speaking at concerts, emceeing things, whatever it is, get your live reps in because that will help you stand out when you finally start to begin your quest to become whatever it is you want to be.
Yeah.
And you guys are living proof of that, just like we are here. And I think that's really cool that we can, talk to people that want to get into what we're doing and let them know what it takes. Because I think we can all agree as well. It's not easy.
It's not. And
easy.
just when you think you've dealt with every issue, they're like, oh, this thing happens or whatever. It's gotten to the point now where I almost like when stuff happens because I'm like, okay, that I can add that to the resume.
I can handle that.
Okay, the amp goes or a string breaks or something someone doesn't show up or there's just so many million things that can happen, and it's nice once you've made it through it and you're like, oh, the world didn't end even, so you forgot a lyric or something, you're still here, people still believe in you, and it's cool that you just, because when I was younger, I was afraid to get my McDonald's order when I was good. I was the most shy person ever.
My dad, he would get me to call all of the houses of the players on our softball team when I was in grade 6, and I cried because I was too scared to call them and tell them that there's a baseball practice, and Dad couldn't understand what's the problem. You call him and say practice Thursday 5 o'clock. And I couldn't do it. I totally know what you're talking about. It beats you up.
But you do enough reps, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I can do this.
All of a sudden I went on the radio and talked to strangers all the time. Still didn't get any better at it, and I still didn't learn how to handle it, but I did it.
But you did it.
And that's half
and you
the
can
battle.
say you did it.
Still cried after.
Yeah. Oh, hanging out on your show. It is Tuesday. That means the All Outta Angst podcast boys are in the house as we just recorded episode 8, dropping on Thursday. Shout out to Wendy Brooks Media. That's our bro right there. If you have social medias that drive you insane to the point where you're like, I hate this, she fixes it, and she's very, very good at it. She'll be in the house tomorrow for our big 100th episode celebration as well as we roll on. I'm getting good at those resets now.
Yeah.
That's the News Talk Radio special right there. Every 15 minutes, make sure you reset. Hosts at home, make sure you reset. So anyone just tuning in, I bet you our numbers probably might have 1 or maybe 2 new viewers right now live.
They've quadrupled.
That's right, literally. And they don't know who these people are, so we reintroduce them and let them know why they're here. Yeah. That's a little bit of live work right there. Pulling back the curtain, if you will. Uncle Mike, I feel like you haven't said a lot today.
No,
and it's not by anyone's fault. We had a very exciting weekend for our friend Matt from all the bands. How are you doing? How's the puppy? Tell me how sweet Penny's doing.
She's doing well. We, she's kind of, we've got her to a point where she's off the leash or off of a.
She hasn't run away again, all scared?
Hasn't run away,
She's
no.
settling in?
She's getting comfortable. We actually went out for a walk early this morning. Amanda and I've blazed a new trail through the bush kind of thing, so we're using that for our walks, and we want to take the dog with us. And Penny, I don't know if it's because it's the bush that she got lost in, but she
hesitant.
A little hesitant,
Skittish.
and Sure enough, we were about halfway down the loop, and sure enough, she comes running up behind us and came all on her own, and yeah, it was an
Learning.
exciting thing. Little things like that. Like last night, I heard her bark for the first time, which was like really exciting.
Yeah,
I shot up from the
These are
yeah, I shot
milestones.
up from the supper table, and Amanda said I had the look on my face was like a proud or excited kind of reaction, I guess.
She's not a bark.
She wasn't, no, and I mean, I think she's her demeanor is pretty calm, but I hadn't heard her bark, and I mean, part of the thing, I like if something's happened something's happening that's out of the ordinary, I want you to bark, right? Like
Alert us.
Yeah. So yeah, little things like that. Like she, they seem minor, I guess, but to us and to have a new dog,
a monumental moment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a huge moment.
Yeah. So it was just again a lot of hanging out with her this weekend. I spent most of the time in the bush, with a chainsaw and an axe and a brush cutter and
So man,
making.
jeez.
And then
You're
I don't
like
know.
such a little boy beside you.
I'm telling you, got to come out and just come out
We're
and
telling
hang
you,
out.
it's
Like,
too manly.
Yeah.
man.
You don't
You're
have
not
to do
cool enough
manly
to
stuff.
hold
You
You've
can
yourself.
already
come
got
hang
that.
out.
You've got that locked down.
I don't know.
I'll bring some baking.
There it is, and I'll bring whatever else I can
Yeah.
find. I don't
Oh, there
have
you
many
go.
things. I'll bring myself. Maybe bring Maggie.
Yeah, doing well.
There's a lot to be said about settling in for a dog in a new home.
Yeah, and that's I was out for lunch with a buddy last week, and he's I think this was day 4 that she had been with us, and he's like, like we're like, oh, she's not, like, we got to start training her, and it's like, well, you probably can't expect much within the first week, right? Like she's
Yeah.
just getting to know us,
Yeah.
she's getting to
It's
know
all
her new
new.
surroundings.
Especially out in acreage too. Like that's like extra.
Right, for sure. There's a lot more to take in, I guess. Like there's other sounds, I mean, we have some cats, there's other animals. I mean, there's deer that come cruising through. So, yeah, well, it's good.
This is very good. Now I'm gonna get back to Matt from all the bands because he just so happened to roll through the sausage capital of the world. Dare I say? It probably wouldn't hold up, but it's some,
I don't know.
some good
no,
sausage
no
over
one
there.
has a monument as great as them. I'll give it that.
If only we had photographic proof.
If only we had some sausage.
if
Did
we
you bring any
could.
souvenirs back?
I know
Trying to
that's
ignore
that's-
the
I-
part.
Well, that's the thing.
There it
that-
is. There it is.
Look at those sausages touching.
Look at that, man! Just
Beautiful. Look how happy you are too. I love that. So this is Mundare, the Mundare sausage.
It's just so majestic.
Yeah, man. My parents
earth on that
love the
thing.
Mundare. So
Like,
look at that
look,
thing.
Yeah,
It almost looks like you're about to drop in like it's a half pipe.
yeah. Well, I
How
have to do
sick
my
would that be?
posing.
No, that is
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's like a hell of a sausage, and
Oh, there it is.
I like the heart
That's the
placement
view.
too. It's like
Totally
it's pretty
involved, yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Sorry, I
But
ruined
yeah,
the
I'm
joke
just
there
like a
bit.
proud pop in there.
I feel like if you were ever on a dating site, that could be your profile. It'd be like, sorry, girls, the sausage is a little
but
smaller than
yeah.
real life.
But yeah, so
That's
that
so
was
fun.
like, because it's kind of Erin's shtick a bit, where she like one time when she was going to a show in Edmonton, she had to go to the washroom, so she just pulled off to this Monday or whatever, and then ended up seeing this magnificent sausage. And now any one of her friends, she'll like always take them there. And I feel like we've been on like probably 5 trips, and I assumed it was further off the road, so I'm like, we can get it.
Right.
We'll get it next time. We'll
Yeah.
get it next time, and then this was the next time where we actually did it, and
Nice.
I'm glad because it has like an energy to it. This thing, it's pretty amazing.
I should hope it does
Yeah,
for
yeah,
being that
yes.
big.
And then
Gee whiz.
another cool thing is like just the convenience store there. It's like one of those really cool convenience stores where like you can get your Garth Brooks CD, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
get your fireworks,
Fishing lures.
fishing lures.
Everything.
They've got like hot food, like hamburgers and like fries and stuff.
Love
But it's like
that.
a really cool and just like great candy selection, like
Oh, yeah.
multiple aisles of different candies.
What,
so
what
like,
was the candy of choice?
Candy of
for
choice.
This trip?
well,
What'd
we
we go
went, we went with Mike and
snacks in
Ike's,
general.
which
Nice.
are
What kind? OG Mike and Ike's?
yeah, OG. Yeah,
Yep,
OG. We were looking for something like cinnamon, like the cinnamon lips, or like even like the red hots or
Yep.
something. We didn't find those, but we settled on the Mike and Ike's, and what else did we get?
I feel like cinnamon candies have gone the way of the dodo.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see too many. Even like Valentine's Day.
Is that
Used to
just
be you
'cause,
could
like,
get
people
cinnamon
don't
hearts
like
anywhere.
them?
I think
or-
so.
Yeah, probably.
You can always tell the people that like cinnamon. I don't know what it is or how you can tell, but I guess it's because they crush them. They're always like, because there's always a stack of those cinnamon hearts because no one wants them, and then someone who really likes them just, Garfields them up.
Yeah, I don't know if I like those. I like the Mike and Ike style. Are those Red Hots or whatever? Like where they
Those
need
would be Red Hots.
yeah,
yes.
where they need to have a little bit of that chewy
Chew, yep.
candy or whatever.
Which is, I guess, the same as the cinnamon lips.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, we didn't find those or whatever. And again, we always go to Barb and Ernie's, this like breakfast joint, and then we go to IKEA.
Barb
because,
and Ernie's.
because we're 40 and that's what you do. That's what we do.
Mhm.
But so yeah, at that point, I think we were kind of full, so we didn't. Normally, we would have got more wow factor with our
Yep.
with our treats, but
Yep.
That's okay.
yeah.
That is totally okay. Uncle Mike, how hard is it to make candy?
It's not overly hard. Finding a good recipe, I've made hard candies.
Of course, I knew you were the
and
guy
I've
to
made
ask.
and then I made gummies as well.
Of course. And
So
what kind of flavors did you make?
I have made watermelon, lime, strawberry.
Why are these candies not here
lemon,
right now?
lime, orange? I will have to bring some. Actually, I just found some candies, some watermelon and a blue raspberry.
I swear, we
think.
didn't talk
Nice.
about this before either. This just happened. I'm
And it's-
so
yeah.
pumped.
So
And
did
it's-
you know that he
Not a clue.
made candy?
Not a
You
clue.
just assumed.
I swear on my life, I just assumed that he did, and of course you did.
Yeah.
So we have candy.
So yeah, the hard candy is not so not that it's difficult. It's kind of more of a straightforward recipe, I guess. Whereas the gummy, because there's lots of variables that come
Yeah.
with consistency
Gelatins?
and meltability.
Pectins.
and-
That's
exactly. Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's gelatin. I mean,
Candy.
for the easy part, you can use a Jello mix, so that has
Ooh.
your flavor and your gelatin. The gummies I make, I generally have to increase the gelatin because I'm adding other ingredients
Things.
to them.
Yes.
But with
Indeed.
the hard candy, you're basically just
Give him a sec.
Yeah. I'm just like, because it waters it down and you need to get the consistency better? Or?
No, we have to put the medicine in it.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, that's right.
Yes. A spoonful of sugar, if
But
you will.
yes, yeah. So gummies, I've dove into the gummy realm quite a bit because I'll also make just some for the kids,
Yeah.
and you obviously try to make them healthier. So it's like, yeah, go have some instead of all the sugar and the shit. So you can make them with like an orange juice and gelatin, and like beef gelatin is high in protein, so you're getting some nutrients there. and
Healthy
things like
gummies,
that,
of course.
I've
And
been-
yeah.
I've been watching a YouTuber who goes by the name of Oompaville, I believe. He's very good. He talks about a lot of conspiracy stuff and a whole bunch of other things. But his side hustle is he sells candy, like straight up
Oh yeah.
candy, like
Yep.
bags of candy. And it's a business that he sort of started with his like buddies and his like family. And every episode that he puts out of his show that he does, he always, we call it baking in the promotion. He always bakes in the promo of how he'll be talking about somebody and they do this. Like, by the way, we also do this. We make candy. And he talks about how incredibly hard it is and how dumb it was for him to do all the manufacturing on his own instead of, contracting it out and all these different things. And all that I can think of when he talks about this candy that he's making is you and making candy and us selling Uncle Mike's candy.
It's definitely
Is it the
been on
manufacturing?
my radar.
The manufacturing side of it is what the big issue?
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. You just have to want to
That's it.
do it.
Kind of like the
And-
hot tub we were going to build beside
Yeah,
the ski
that's
chalet
still
out
on the
here.
list.
Yeah,
man.
no, I know.
But actually, one thing I did, so I was making, I made some bacon last fall, and I wanted to impart the maple syrup
Yeah.
into it, but I didn't want. I was doing kind of a dry cure or a dry rub, so I actually made maple sugar from maple syrup.
Come on.
So basically similar to, or the reverse of how you would make hard candy. You take like crystallized sugar, normal sugar, and you liquefy it to a hard crack stage. So you heat it up. So you're basically boiling out all
with
the moisture.
water or just heat it up?
Just heat.
Yeah.
Do you add water initially? No, I don't think so.
No.
I think you're just
heat it
maybe
up.
maybe you are adding water. I can't remember. I'd have to look
Either way,
back at my
yeah.
recipe. Anyway, so with maple sugar, you're starting with a liquid maple syrup, and you're basically you turn it into a sugar, and it was a really cool something I had never done, I guess, where you're just
How
you're
did
whipping
it
and
taste?
it tastes delicious. It tastes like maple syrup, but in a granular
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
I guess.
Just like concentrated.
Yeah. And then chocolate, like another chocolates I got actually just yesterday. I made some a very simple kind of nude dessert type thing. It was Greek yogurt, peanut butter, honey, and I put some like salted almonds in it, and you freeze it, and then you coat it in chocolate. So
Come
it's like a
Yeah.
kind of like an I don't know, refreshing, healthy kind of ice cream-y, yogurty treat.
What do we need to start making all of these things?
Time
and money.
Time, yeah, a little bit of money, time. Candy molds, like I found some. I've got like the little gummy bears because that's what you start
Yeah,
with when
of
you're
course.
making gummies.
Yeah.
And then they were a little small, so then I got some like Lego molds and some other things.
You did your classic Uncle Mike thing where you explore options.
Yeah, exactly. And then like I said, with the gummies, it's a consistency thing. So it takes a little trial and error, and you want to keep it like you don't want to add you don't want to add a lot of the shit that I'm trying to get away from what is in the normal candy
Yeah.
and make a healthier version type
But
thing.
still tasty.
But still tasty
That's the
and
trick.
still satisfying. So
Okay.
maybe we'll make some candy sometime.
I thought it was so cool that this dude makes candy. Like,
Mhm.
he got like little guys, they got the ropes, the candy ropes, and they got the candy ribbons and all sorts of these things. And whenever he talked, like, and his show has nothing to do with candy. It's like a total side thing. I just think it'd be really cool to have some candy here
Mm-hmm.
that we make ourselves that is safe to eat. We could make some medicated candies too, of course, and because those are always good to help out with the pains when our
But
necks
yeah,
are sore
yeah.
and all that. But I think it'd be really cool because we always like,
It fits the brand of this place.
well,
like
it does, and
candy.
that's what we
like,
do. Like we did the One Bad podcast recording earlier today. KD was here with his daughter Laurel, and first thing, I'm going to the candy. Gary,
Yeah.
can we have some candy? Of course, get in there, have some candy. And then KD takes candy for the rest of them, and it's sort of a part of what we do because candy makes you happy. So if we can make our own candy
Mm-hmm.
and have it right here, we don't even have to promote it because people just know the candy's here. I'm always thinking of ways
It's
to,
pretty
do these
cool.
fun
Like
things.
it could be really cool. And then I just can't stop thinking about like the packaging and like we would have like exclusive all out of angst, like ones. and
Black.
what- yeah.
They have
Get
to be
Jack,
black. You
get
put
Jack
some-
Brothers to do the logo
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, like,
do a new
oh,
one.
man.
Oh man, we still have a couple logos that we haven't
Well,
used.
yeah.
yet.
So yeah, we can
Maybe
use
we
one of
could
those.
use those.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of
I
ways
like
for
this.
that.
I like this.
As we continue rolling on your show, episode 99. God, we're gonna do a little recording here when we're done today. And maybe we can touch a little bit right now about your guys' thoughts on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network and your show specifically, as it's, in every sense of the word, is your show. Is there anything that sort of stands out for either one of you since we started this adventure and getting to this point?
I just can't. Like you made that first. I don't know if it was a text or a call, but back in was that late March or something like that?
Right around there,
Right,
yeah.
right before it all happened. And I remember because I'm always like anything Gary needs, we're doing it. It's like I don't care. And then I was trying to explain to Aaron and what it was, and I was like, I don't really know. I just
No
know that
one knows.
I know that he needs my help, or not help, but like
No, yes, your help,
But just
specifically.
wants people on board or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to support this, and then kind of saw the vision, and I've seen it grow or whatever. And it's I don't know. It just feels special, and I just feel like proud that I get to be the smallest part of it.
Nobody's a small part, and that's the crazy part about this whole thing, is everybody brings what they bring. You, literally, I say to you, hey, just come up with some little jingles here or there, or this or that, and all of a sudden we have intros for all of our shows on the network, and we have songs that we're working on, and it's just like, it's you bringing what you offer, and everybody does that here. That's how we come together. Uncle Mike, all natural products, bro. Look at this stuff. We have Callum Oliver stole the hat. He stole the bunny
Oh,
hut
did he?
and the hat now. He said he's gonna have a full Uncle Mike's gear by the time he's like done collecting. But you bring all these incredible things and we give them away to people, and you bring the ability to talk about creating things that no one would even think about doing. You create all of these natural products. You just talked about how you can create candy. You bring the value of
Healthy
an
candy.
everyman. Exactly. You are a guy that basically facilitates chasing dreams, which is exactly what we do here. And it's exactly what we need. And that's your value. Dragon, this dude over here, when he's not on his phone in the booth, probably doing Tinders or sexting or something weird. Anyways, Dragon comes in here. Before, he was just a guy who was going to film school. Now he hosts the viewing room. He produces your show. He does all the lights. He does so many things here. When we were on location at Gambate over the weekend, he was helping setting up signs. He was literally out on the floor being a salesman. He was handing out cards, smiling, shaking hands, talking to people, making connections. To the point where I thought he was an actual sales dude. I was like, are you just a sales guy now? Is that what you do? He's like, oh, no. I'm like, you're so good at this. Like, it's so cool that all of these people, like LB, his co-host on the viewing room, literally an 18-year-old kid who built this entire place. Everything here that you see, all of these cords all have gone through LB. And my buddy, Big Boy, who's going to be a star on the Twitch stream, he built this entire set in 4 days with his own 2 hands, him and his brother Wes. Dr. Funkhauser didn't do a thing except donate money, and a lot of money, to build the tooth booth. Like, all of these people are now family members of the movement that is, let's make the world a better place. Yeah. And when all you have to do is say to somebody, hey, you want to help make the world a better place? And you say yes, then guess what? That's what we're doing. And that's why you guys are here. So when you say a small part, no, you're wrong. Every person has a huge part. They're just all different. And that's the really, really cool thing about what we're doing here.
I just feel like I get so much out of it. That's why I'm just like,
We look forward to it.
Well, and it's like how your parents say you are who you hang out with or whatever. And like you just said, like everyone here has this like incredible skill set or whatever, and it's so varied or whatever. So like you just get to learn so many things and meet so many cool people, and I feel like a better person, and I feel like more in touch with the community. Like it's all good.
That's been another one of my favorite things about this, is reconnecting with old friends. Like, I've known Uncle Mike since I was like 5 years old. Like, we've known each other. Like, our families have known each other forever.
So cool.
And to be able to reach out, like back at the old place, we would do it for a bit, but it was still under the guise of advertising, and he only had so much time where he was advertising with us, so we get him on every week. And then once you can't afford to advertise anymore, that connection's lost. And I always told him, I said, man, if I ever get anything going, trust me, I got you. You know, and that's sort of the way it's been. You got any fun, exciting memories with all this?
Yeah, I mean, similar. You know, when you reached out, it was like, yeah, man, I'm down for whatever. And I don't know, maybe it started out like, oh, I'll give you a hand. It'll be a one-time thing, and then now it's like, oh, now you're
That's
helping
what
me,
happened to
you
me,
know?
yeah.
And it's like, and I look forward to Tuesdays, you know, I look forward to our time together.
The joke never gets old where I say I tricked all of my friends into coming by
Well,
once a
you
week and
kinda
hanging
just,
out.
like when you said, you know, it was gonna, like when you, the first time you're like, do you want to be on your show this week? And that was like right when it started. And Aaron's like, oh, you should do it, man. And I thought,
I have
yeah,
no idea what it is,
but
you know, or
I thought it was
what's
going to be
cooking
like,
here.
I'll go on the Tuesday and we'll start it out, and then I'm going to watch this thing. And then it's like, I just started coming back.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
And that all stems as well from like the years worth of battles that we put in trying to get you guys on the air. Everything that I tried to do to get you guys any sort of step up on anything, because I've seen how hard it is and I've seen how much work you're putting into all this stuff. And when I left that place, I was like, how else can I help these guys still? How else can I help all my friends that I was helping? And how can I do it more? Because over there it was this much, because it had to go through all the proper corridors before it could be content. Here, you come in and it's content. There's nobody in between you and I and you. And to have that whole big mountain just disappear
There's
from our road is
no
like the
barriers.
coolest thing.
Yeah, like, because I understand completely, like, certain untimely demise songs or
dude.
whatever. Like, that's not meant to be on commercial radio, and I totally get that. But it's nice how, like, if we wanted to play something heavy here or whatever, I don't think that would be an issue. It's not going to rub anyone the wrong way.
We rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I will say that out loud, but for all the right reasons. You know, like if it was just doing it to be a bunch of dinks, like that's not cool. But if you're doing whatever it is that you're doing to help a good person, a bunch of great people, and sort of push them forward in their careers, dare I say you're sort of a dink if you don't do that, right? How can you go on the air every day and say, hey, this is your show, and I'm talking about over there, this is your show, whatever you want to talk about, that's what we're going to do, and I promise if there's anything I can do for you, I will do it. How can I go on the air and say that and then just not do anything?
You got credibility.
Gotta do
I'll
something.
give you that.
Either way, it's very cool. So we will be celebrating episode 100. Man, that's 100 hours of live content.
I'm glad
That's wild.
If this is 99, I'm glad we didn't. Remember when there was that whole Tim Hortons 99 thing where people were doing 9 creams and 9 sugars in their.
Oh, I did not.
You hear? It was
That sounds
it
pretty
was a
wild.
thing where like people were getting a Gretzky and it was 9 creams and
Okay.
9 sugars in there. So basically, it's a cup of cream
Right,
and sugar.
exactly.
But I'm glad we didn't like drink those or something on this one
Yeah.
or like do something stupid like that.
Was it the Beastie Boys that said, I like my sugar with coffee and cream? That's probably what he was talking about. The Wayne Gretzky
Yeah, the
from
Gretzky.
old Timothy Hortons. Dragon, you got any of those, Frankie? Oh, I'm going to have to finish saying we started, boys. We have 2.5 minutes. Let's see how the boys do on this playout. Thank you for joining us on episode 99, the Wayne Gretzky Show, we call it. It's been an absolute pleasure to be hanging out with these boys. Again, we recorded the 8th episode of the All Out of Angst podcast, audio only. You can find it anywhere you get your audio only podcast, be it Apple Music, be it Spotify, you know, all those other. Amazon apparently has one too. So all those things. Oh, look at this. We got record with the boys. Oh, looks like we got to do a little more recording after this. Oh, so funny. Stay focused, Gary. You can do this. It's so hard not to focus on what's going on beside me. The classical and the Tasmanian devilical over there. To Dragon, thank you, my friend, for being the sweetest dragon in the world. I love you. I appreciate you so damn much. You are so good on those ones and twos. To Kurt Dahl and his daughter Laurel, thank you for stopping by. We always love saying hello to you as we got new episodes dropping on Friday for the One Bad podcast, which will be very, very good. To the great LB, our boy, the homie, thank you for making sure all this stuff works. He was in here earlier today messing with all the ones and all the twos. So it worked out quite well. Nice to know that the Zoom is ready to rock. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the 100th episode. It's going to be an extravaganza, a huge celebration as we celebrate your show. Not mine, yours. So be sure to tune in for that one, as a lot of special guests and a lot of cool things will be going down in honor of said episode. How you guys holding up?
Dandy.
You're almost there. The Hamburglar shirt, by the way. Love the Hamburglar shirt.
I did want to bring it up, actually.
I should have talked about him. Well, luckily we'll do it next week, all right? That sounds great. Remember, karma is very, very real, all right? So do a lot of good things, and you'll notice it'll start happening to you. That's how we make this world a better place, and that's what we're all about around here. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we will see you tomorrow for episode 100. It's going to be incredible. Have a great rest of your night. You guys are awesome, man.